Okay, y'all. So now let's get into this mess regarding Christina Ricci going in and letting have on dumbass Megyn Kelly. I would call it nut. I was like trying to say nutmeg, and it doesn't have a better. It doesn't have a good ring. Nutmeg McCain done took the cake with the whole nutmeg situation. So we got to come up with a name for this child diddler excuser, because that's literally what she is. Because Christina Ricci, shout out to her, the only Wednesday we acknowledge, by the way. No shade to Jenna Ortega, but she is the only Wednesday I acknowledge. Because it's my generation's Wednesday. But anyway, so she's calling out Megyn Kelly and calling her a danger to children for moving the goalposts when it comes to excusing Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and the accusations that uh, Donald Trump may have been out here having sexual relations with little girls as young as 14. Now, taking to Instagram stories, the Yellow Jacket star shared a quote that read, "There's definitely a difference between a 5-year-old and a 15-year-old, but that difference is not whether or not sleeping with them makes you a pedophile," per screenshots captured by BuzzFeed. The next slide featured quotes from Kelly's recent interview with journalist Batya Ungar Sargon on her eponymous podcast, in which they went over the House Oversight Committee's release of the Epstein emails. She said, "I know somebody very close to the case. Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile." This is what Kelly argued. "He wasn't into 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old, you know," the quote continued in a reshare from Betches_news. Well, you're right. There is no difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. Fucking a child is fucking a child. It's wrong. But she is right. He did like the very young teen types because remember, once upon a time, he and Donald Trump judged the teen pageant situation in private. It was just them two amongst these young girls. There were stories about this that came out. So yes, this man was out here trafficking young girls with the help of Ghislaine Maxwell and a lot of people because he kept a lot of files on a lot of people, a lot of dirt. And I also believe that Netanyahu and a bunch of these other dictators, even like what's his name, Putin, they all got dirt on Trump, which is why he does a lot of bidding with a lot of these crazy ass terroristic politicians from other countries. So for her to sit up here and say out of her damn mouth, "Oh, there's a difference between a 5-year-old and a 15-year-old." 15-year-olds are still young. Their brains haven't developed. They're not old enough to consent about having sex with grown ass men who know better. What are you talking about? Austin, what was out there having sex with underage boys? His ass is in fucking prison. So for her to sit up in here and move this goalpost because she's Team Trump and everything they do, they're so happy they got to win. Because this is the same long jawed, man jawed broad that came out here and made comments about Barack Obama, how we had to sit on our hands, we had to put up with. I'm paraphrasing, but she said some bullshit about Barack Obama being president and how she was seething at the fact that there was a black man running the country for 2 terms. But because they got to win, and Trump gives them permission to say their ignorant, bigoted, racist rhetoric, which has gotten her fired from her job because of some of the racist things she said on her talk show and in other places. Now she feels like she could throw a rock and hide her hand and hide behind this bullshit. But last I checked, Megyn got a 14-year-old daughter. So you're okay with leaving your child around a Jeffrey Epstein? I want to see her go somewhere that's in a room with these Jeffrey Epstein types. Put your daughter in the cutest little outfit, beat her face for the guards like she a drag queen with all the makeup, and let me see you let these grown men go in and let have on your child. I guarantee you she won't allow it. But she's gonna spew this mess on social media. Well, then again, you never know what a lot of these with these types. Because there's many of grown people out here who will pimp out their own damn children for 3 hots and a cot or any kind of assimilation to power. So you'd be surprised with these grown people. They will whore their children out for any kind of opportunity. So Ricci, who's 45, further weighed in via Instagram stories, writing, "This woman is a danger to children." Elsewhere in the aforementioned podcast, the faux news host, well, faux news alum, I should say, because she has her own show. She's independent now. Argued that the whole thing is just disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this, but you are, Blanche, you are making an excuse for it. I'm just giving you facts. No, that's not facts. That's your opinion being clothed or swathed in what you deem as facts. It's not facts. It's an opinion. Because there is no difference between a 5-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 60-year-old. There might be a little bit of a slight loophole because depending on the state, 17-year-olds are considered legal, 18-year-olds are considered legal. But anything under the age of that, you're playing with fire. So then she also went to say that he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they are, but would look legal to a passerby. What is this bitch saying? Because you can even say the same thing about an 18-year-old. There's some 18-year-old girls who are legal, the legal age, and boys. But we talk about the girls because that's what Jeffrey, for as far as we know, this is what Jeffrey Epstein was in. But we could probably lump both sexes because boys are just as much as sex trafficking and abuse as girls. A lot of people just like to focus on the girls because girls are more chic. You can't really talk about boys being diddled with, but they get diddled with just as much as the girls. But there are people like, especially when you look at the adult entertainment and all these other things, they have the ones that are barely legal, which is what they call it. The 18-year-olds who, they are the legal age, but to the eye, they look 14. They look like they, still got Similac on their breath. And that's a turn on for a lot of grown men. The hell is this bitch talking about? So Kelly went on to say she had been reliably told this about the disgraced financier for many years until Attorney General Pam Bondi announced earlier this year that the FBI allegedly had tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn on Epstein's computer they were viewing. Saying, quote, for the first time I thought, oh no, he was an actual pedophile. Well, bitch, we told you he was. That was always the thing that was running around that he was. So because this friend that you talking about told you that they are the sub, now you believe it? The stories was out there. What the fuck you talking about? Willis? She never clarified it, Kelly said of Bonnie's comments about the videos, adding, I don't know whether it's true. The stories is out there. What are you talking about? They always like to play up this dumb. They never want to admit when their side fucks up. But let me tell you, if this was the Democrats that was caught up in this, and trust and believe, they're trying to say this to Democrats that's in them Epstein files. Release it. I don't know why y'all sit up here and try to act like that we're the ones. Well, I'll speak for me. That because I'm not some psychotic conservative or a part of the MAGA cult, that I'm so quick to be like, oh, it's the other side, it's the other. No, I don't think that way. Pedophilia is wrong, regardless of who's doing it, regardless of the political party. I wish we would stop trying to make everything about Republicans versus Democrats. It's right and wrong. And what's wrong is sexually abusing children, regardless of your political affiliation. If there are Democrats that are on that list that was out here and you got evidence of them sticking their peen or their poon on some child, release it and they need to be persecuted. I don't give a fuck if they're on what side of or what party they're affiliated with. It's wrong, regardless. So if y'all want to sit up here and nitpick and try to make it about it's the other side or it's this or it's that, you go ahead and do that. But for me personally, no. If regardless of the side, release it. And there's been many sensible people who are on the side of democracy. I'm not saying corporate senators Democrat because I'm not any of those. I'm way more progressive in my beliefs. I'm a democratic socialist. And I wear that with a badge of honor. The real ones, not the fake ones like the AOCs and the Bernie Sanders, because you're already pissing me off with this shit talking about we don't need the primary Hakeem Jeffries. This is not the time. Well, when the fuck is it? Because AOC just pissed me off with that one. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. You can't sit up in here doing a whole fight the oligarchy tour, and then we've actually taken the advice to fight the oligarchy. Oh no, now is not the time. Well, then when is it, sis? But to get back to this, like I said, right is right and wrong is wrong. And pedophilia is wrong. So now Kelly's comments prompted an instant wave of backlash, as rightfully so, on Twitter. One person says Sirius XM needs to fire Megyn Kelly right now and should. Oh, she's on Sirius XM, so that's, I guess, the home of where she gets to broadcast her buffoonery. Another person, I want Megyn Kelly to say this to a 15-year-old victim's face. I want her to look that child in the eye and say it's less bad. Another person, a 15-year-old is, and they said in caps, is a child. Very disappointed in you. Now, Epstein died by suicide in August of 2019. He was found in his prison cell in New York while awaiting trial on the infamous charges of sex trafficking of minors. As for Kelly, this certainly isn't the first time she has broached a controversial topic on her podcast. In recent months, she also claimed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are likely to lose their titles, bashing Sydney Sweeney's viral transparent red carpet dress, and labeled Jennifer Lopez as an adult entertainer for a sultry performance over the summer. Well, that last part, she just mad because she can't even get her husband's dick hard. I mean, quiet as it's kept, word on the street is her husband rather be out here diddling with someone of the same gender than her man-looking ass. But like I said, at the end of the day, Megyn got to be a special kind of stupid to even fix her mouth to excuse this kind of behavior. But then again, shouldn't be surprised by her answer, especially when these maggot cultists continue to move the goalposts in order to justify Donald Trump's actions. Like I said, this is the same person who is currently raising a teen daughter. And I want to see her, not only as that person said, say this to a teen person's face, I want her to say that to her own child. If her child ever came up to her and said, Mommy, a man was inappropriate with me. It's not so bad. You can take it. You old enough. 14 is considered an adult. It's not bad. Yeah, okay, bitch. But as long as she and her team remains, her team remains in power, as in this current administration, and she gets to grift offset power, she will continue to look the other way while the Trump administration continue to destroy what's left of America. So we'll see if she gets taken off the air for it, but I doubt it. Because we got all these people in place that are protecting Trump and all about Trumpism, and these oligarchs want their tax breaks or whatever the case is. So they're not gonna rock the boat. She'll still get to continue to keep her job, but in the meantime, people need to keep their foot on her neck in regards to the bullshit that she's been spewing. And the only way you could get Megyn Kelly crazy pedophile supporting ass off social media or off Sirius XM, the ratings need to fall. So money talks, low ratings talk. That's the only way you can fight back against these people. But it is what it is, whatever. But I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Christina Ricci had to say in regards of Megyn Kelly spewing this hateful, stupid rhetoric, inexcusable behavior regarding supporting pedophilia? Because they love moving the goalposts when it comes to their own being caught out here in some BS. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.